Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have Justin Banon, co-founder of Boson Protocol, to discuss the rapid rise of NFTs and their role as a catalyst for mass blockchain adoption. Justin, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill. Great to be here.
All right, you got it. And why do you think that NFTs really can be the catalyst that will lead to mass adoption with blockchain?
Well, at Boson, we're using NFTs to represent physical items, to essentially tokenize all physical items, and then be able to exchange those physical items as NFTs in the same way that you can exchange any other NFT. And the thing about NFTs is that they're like highly programmable. So whereas previously you would have sort of commerce, and then maybe you'd have some sort of loyalty program that would impose rules on who could get this benefit, this discount, this price, who could have access. Now, just straight out of the box, NFTs on Boson Protocol can be programmed with all of this kind of logic, and leading to this whole concept of like programmable commerce.
And how do you think Web3 is going to allow commerce to radically transform the current way that we recognize the e-commerce model?
Well, we've just done a piece of research with the world's leading blockchain economist, Professor Jason Potts, and basically the kind of thesis there is what happens if you tokenize. At the moment, e-commerce is a series of like silos. You could imagine 20, 30 years ago, all the world's information was in libraries. You'd have to kind of drive to the library, pull out a book to understand, what's the capital of Botswana, for example. Now all of that information is just, it's networked, you can Google it. And the same thing is happening with commerce, with protocols like Boson. So by tokenizing all of the world's products and services, and then putting them onto this commonly accessible network, people can just search for these things. But then, the real breakthrough is the exchange then happens without having to rely on an eBay or an Amazon. This exchange can just be done using the same infrastructure by which we would exchange NFTs. So it creates this sort of like global liquid digital marketplace for physical things.
And Justin, when we think about NFTs, is it a transactional type of thing, or is it something that has the potential to create lasting benefits for consumers?
Well, I think current e-commerce is transactional. I send the money, I receive the goods. But with NFTs, in particular, the NFTs we're using, redeemable NFTs we're using with Boson Protocol, the buyer will put the money into the NFT, receive an NFT. That NFT can then be held. So, for example, it can represent luxury whiskey that's taking 10 years to mature, and so therefore is like a bond, or like a forward contract for that whiskey. So it can be held. It can be gifted. So you could buy your nephew a pair of high-end sneakers. Your nephew lives in Melbourne, Australia, and send that NFT and just gift that across the world. It can be traded. So we're tokenizing these sort of more collectible, rare physical assets, and then creating like a commodities market for those assets by trading them as NFTs. And then finally, the items can sort of be redeemed eventually by perhaps the fourth or fifth owner of the NFT.
So it sounds as if it's also an experiential item as well, because you're granting access to whether it's a specific event or a specific piece of commerce, like a sneaker, to your point. It sounds like it's more than just, okay, here's a gift card, go buy what you want. It sounds like there's an experience attached to it as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, these redeemable NFTs are actually baskets. They're bundles. They unlock to enable things inside. And so the things inside could be, here's a basket that unlocks, giving me, imagine if you're going to a baseball game. Here's a basket that unlocks, here's the ticket. Here is this NFT redeems for the physical jersey. This NFT enables you to access download digital content of the match, and then this NFT enables you to perhaps have a meal there. So all of these things can be represented by this common item, an NFT, that can be programmed, and sort of they can be nested and bundled as well, which is like hugely powerful.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also hugely impactful for the companies as well, because it kind of locks you into their ecosystem and you form a community around it. So it really does benefit the companies themselves to use this type of technology to build their consumer base, or at least retain their consumer base.
Absolutely. And in a world where, the consumer base is less becoming like, in the past, the consumer base was something that a company would do broadcast marketing to. Now, that consumer base is a community that the company needs to be part of. And so by using technologies like Boson Protocol for commerce, but also for building things like Web3 loyalty programs, you can actually create your commerce and loyalty in the same, using the same technology that these Web3 communities are built out of.
All right, Justin, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.